Well, hello there, and welcome to the Sovereign CEO podcast. I am Caleb Jones. This is where we talk about how to create your own location-independent income, move to a less bad country, or at least set up an international backup plan, and do all these things for very little money. I am a time management expert. I have been a time management consultant for many, many years. Time management has been a very big interest of mine for decades now. I'm pretty damn good at it. I have been able to, for many decades now, make a very high income on the number of hours I work. For many years, I made a strong six-figure income, and this is 15, 20 years ago, so adjust for inflation what strong six figures means, on working just 4 days a week. I would actually take 3-day weekends. I would not work Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays, and just work those 4 days, and I did very, very well. And since then, I've been able to really scale my income without having to work much longer hours. And in the past several years, I went back to working. For a while, I was working 7 days a week. And several years ago, my mentors said, Caleb, you'll make more money if you work 1 day less per week at least. And they were right. So today I work 6 days a week. I've said this many times. I'm in a scenario now where if I wanted to, I could maintain my entire financial empire, all my businesses, all my income, working literally 2 days a week. I could work a full day on Monday, like 12-hour day. I could work a half day on Tuesday or so, and take the rest of the week off, do that rest of my life, and I would have no dip in income. To qualify that statement, a lot of people would be very angry at me. That is true, but I wouldn't make less money. Or if I made less money, it'd be a little less. It would be barely enough to register. That makes sense. In this podcast, I'm going to talk about how I structure my typical week, because this is important. So in my book, my primary book, The Unchained Man, you can get it at alphamalebook.com. I have an entire time management chapter in there on a system called E3D. I'm not going to go through that today because that's in that book. Go buy the book. It's $7, okay? And that's about how to plan every 3 days. And E3D could be every 3 days, every 4 days, every 7 days, every 8 days. It's variable. If you don't know, if you're starting from scratch, you start every 3, and you can extend that out as you get more experienced. I plan once a week. The vast majority, with rare exception, I plan once a week. Usually I sit down and do this on Sundays or Mondays. I'm not going to go through my entire planning system in this podcast because that gets a little complicated. I have a complex life, much more complex than the vast majority of you listening to this podcast. So if I went into minutia on exactly how I plan my week, it wouldn't apply to 95% of you as I went through that. So I said, instead, I'll just talk about how I structure my week, because that does apply to all of you, okay? So first, you have to break out the types of work that you do in your business. Now, many of you don't have a business yet. That's fine. Many of you are starting your own business. That is also fine. 90-Day Business Builder. Join that program and we can get you making money within 12 weeks. 90-Day Biz, B-I-Z, bizbuilder.com if you're interested in that. But you have to identify the types of work, and then you block off the sections of the week based on those work types. So the first type of work is what I call SW work, standard work. And there's also IW work, which is improvement work, okay? So SW work, if you didn't know, is the work you must do to maintain your income, but it doesn't grow your income. For example, checking your email. Does that grow your income every time you check and respond to emails? No, it does not grow your income. But if you didn't check your email, you'd have a serious problem, wouldn't you? Yes. So you have to do it, but it doesn't grow your income, but it still has to get done. That's SW, okay? IW is the opposite. That is the work you don't have to do, but grows your income. So if you start a whole new marketing plan, you start running ads, you've ever run ads before in your life, that's IW. Do you have to start running ads? No. But if you do it, you'll make more money. So that's IW. And there's various types of SW and IW because it's a little complex. I'm just going to summarize it here for the purpose of this podcast. In my personal planning, I call SW buffer work. That's just my personal word for it. Please don't copy that. You can if you want. I got that from a program I was a part of called Strategic Coach several years ago. That's Dan Sullivan's program. But anyway, I have work that I call buffer work that is basically my SW work. It's work I've got to do. I don't like it. I can't outsource it, or I can't outsource most of it. I have to do it myself. It's non-outsourceable, but I have to address it every week. Examples of that would be I have to monitor my finances. profit and loss statements, work with my bookkeepers. I can't really outsource that because it's my money, okay? Things like checking my own email, I don't check my own email. I stopped doing that years ago. I outsourced that. So that used to be a big part of my SW was checking my own email. I don't do that anymore. Other people check my email for me. It's awesome. And if it has to do with me specifically, they can't outsource it. They send it to me and I have a separate little email box that I check. So, but another example of things for my SW would be like legal work, tax work. I can't outsource that. I have to do it, okay? Big major decisions in terms of managing staff. I have to do some of that, or a lot of it. So what I do is once a week, I designate what I call a buffer day. And that is the day where I take as much time as it needs. It may not take all day. Usually it doesn't take all day, but it takes the bulk of a day to get all my SW work done for the week. So it's all fucking done. I don't have to worry about this until the next buffer day. That includes things like emails. So like non-urgent emails. If my buffer day is on a Monday and you send me a non-urgent email that has to go to me, it's entirely possible I'm not going to respond to you till the following week, the following buffer day, even after that. So I even put emails in there if it's non-urgent. If it's urgent, if there's a lot of money involved, obviously I'm going to answer that sooner. So that would be one type of day I do is a buffer day, okay? Then I have to do something called content creation. I have to do this podcast. I have to record YouTube videos. I got to record TikTok and Instagram videos, right? I have 2 mailing list online newsletters I have to write. I used to do blog posts. All this stuff is content. I have to create this content. And so usually, not always, but usually I will take a day and I will call that content day. Maybe buffer day might be Monday. Content day might be Thursday or Wednesday, okay? And so those are the days where I sit down and I batch my tasks. I crank out all my YouTube videos, all my podcasts, all my newsletters, all that stuff, and I mash it into one day. Because time management 101, you're much more effective and efficient if you do multiple things of the same thing than spray them out throughout the week. What you don't want to do, if you need to do 5 YouTube videos a week or whatever, you don't want to do one a day for 5 days in a row. That's terrible time management. You want to take a few hours and just do all 5 and just crank them out. I used to do this every week. I would create a week of YouTube videos and a week of podcasts all in one day. It would take about 4 hours. I have recently changed that to one full day every other week. So I will do 2 weeks of YouTube videos and podcasts in one fucking day. I just blow my brains out all day and now I'm done for 2 weeks. I don't have to do any videos except for like the on-the-fly videos I do with my phone. But those are easy. I don't care about those. And when I plan on my week, I pick the day I'm going to do my content day, which means I need to be home all day, can't have any meetings that day. And I sit myself here in this office where I am right now, my office here in Dubai, and I sit here, and I'm doing this right now as I record this podcast / this video. I spend hours and hours and hours recording videos, and my voice gets tired by the end of the day, and I'm kind of tired, but I get it done, and now I'm done. That's all done. Good to go. The next type of day I tend to schedule is what I call expansion days. And these are my IW days. This is where I focus on new ways to create new income. So marketing, specifically new marketing. If I'm working on improving my existing marketing channels, I have a marketing channel through YouTube ads. I have another marketing channel through Instagram appointment setters. I have another marketing channel through joint ventures. I have various marketing channels for my other companies that are not involved with Alpha Male 2.0 / Sovereign CEO. And so I try to shove that all into a day or 2 because I want to make sure I'm spending X amount of time on a weekly basis growing my income. IW work. The biggest challenge with employees and most business owners is they fill their whole week with SW and they don't have, quote, time for any IW, and so they make the same amount of money every year. My income goes up, not every year, but most years. Most years, my income goes up, and it usually goes up by double-digit percentage points. Why is that? Because I spend a lot of time in fucking IW. I make sure my income goes up. Now, there are exceptions. If I expand the company and I hire a bunch of people, maybe my net income goes down that year, or odd years where I have higher expenses. Those happen. Those do occur. But most years, at least since my conversion to Alpha 2.0 about 15 years ago, most years my income goes up because I put in those expansion days. Make sense? I also, and this is relatively new in my life in the last let's see, 3 years I've been doing this. I have what's called a free day. And the genesis of this were some of my coaches, my mentors. These are men who make a lot more money than me and don't work long hours. These are men that I look up to. Most of these guys are, they're not famous on the internet. They're usually in their 70s. They don't care about social media and that kind of crap. But these guys all told me pretty much across the board, Caleb, you're working every day. And the problem with that is you're filling up your week with too much stupid shit. Instead, if you limit your work hours by taking more time off per week, you'll be more efficient in those hours. It will force you to be more efficient. The example that was given to me, Brian Tracy, one of my old mentors, gave me this example many years ago. Let's say you are leaving the country for a month and can't do any work, and you're doing it in 4 days. What do you need to get done in those 4 days? I promise you, you're gonna be super efficient in those 4 days. Much more efficient than you'd ever be if you didn't have that constraint. Exactly. And it took them about 3 months to convince me to do this because I didn't want to do it. I said, take a day off. No, I got work to do. I want to, make a lot of money. Like, Caleb, you'll make more money if you take a day off. They were right. So what I started doing is initially it was Sunday. Then I think we moved to Monday. The day of the week changes. These days, it's every Friday. What I do most weeks, sometimes I cheat on this. Okay, that has happened. But usually, every Friday, I do no work. And a free day is only real if you do literally no work from midnight to midnight. So from midnight to midnight on Friday, usually I do no work. And when they mean no work, they mean no fucking work. You cannot check a single email. You can't make a single phone call. You can't pull up your phone and check your investments. That all counts as work. You can't do any of that. You cannot read any business books. You can't listen to any business podcasts. You can't listen to any business YouTube videos. You have an entire day where your brain rests and recharges. So that way, the next 6 days, you can fucking hit it hard. And I've been doing this for years, and it's worked. It's very effective. I do cheat. Matter of fact, I've been cheating more lately. Maybe I'll talk about that in a future podcast as to why. But historically, normally, I take that whole day off. And usually that, in my case, I am married, so I give that day to my wife because I'm working all day and all night. She gets very little time with me during the week, so I give her the Friday to kind of make sure I don't get divorced and to enjoy spending time with my lovely wife, Pink Firefly. So usually we go out. Usually in the morning, she'll get ready. It takes her a long time because she's a Barbie, so she takes a long time to get ready. And so I'll just chill out doing stuff around the house or writing fiction or watching fun movies or whatever. Can't really watch fun movies anymore because Hollywood's collapsing. They can't make good movies anymore. But anyway, I'll just kind of chill out in that morning. And then we'll go out for most of the day. We'll come back home and maybe watch a movie at night and then, have dinner and, we'll just chill out, relax. Maybe we'll go to the beach here in Dubai. A lot of cool stuff to do in Dubai. So that is always a day I plug into my weekly schedule when I pre-plan my week. When is my free day? I think it is best to have the same day of the week on these things. So I try to make buffer days Mondays. I try to make content days Wednesdays. I always have my free day on Fridays. Things like, you don't have to do that, but that's how I do it. I also have other days where I do things like another category of time I spend is warm marketing. So warm marketing are marketing things I do. It's part of my SW. It's not IW. Not all marketing is IW. So let me backtrack on that for a second. If you spend $10,000 a month in ads, let's say, and you've been doing that for 3 years, the next month you spend another $10,000 is not IW because you're already doing it. It would be IW if you made it $45,000 and you did a whole new thing. That'd be IW. But continuing to do the same marketing you've always done is SW. Now it's high quality SW, but it's SW. So my warm marketing is marketing I do to my existing audience. When we do launches, for example, that's warm marketing. When we do our webinars, that's warm marketing. So I have some time spent into that. That is high quality SW, but it needs to get done. A lot of that I can outsource, and as time goes on, I outsource more and more of that stuff. But that's another aspect of my time. I also have development days or product creation days. That's where I develop new products, new services. Our Get Residency services is a result of that I did last year. The 90-Day Business Builder program, the 500K Business Accelerator program were things I developed last year, and those continue to develop over time. Also, when we refine those offerings and refine those products and services, that's also development time. So we just had a meeting, as of this recording, we had a meeting with my key team, my management team, on how we can improve the 90-day business builder programs. We improve that every iteration we do, we improve it. And so we had a 2-hour meeting where we went through everything. How do we make this better? How do we make that better? How do we get them the money faster? How can we improve this? Where do we see they're having trouble? How can we help them there? And we changed a lot of things actually kind of radically in that program, and that's development time. So that's another aspect, a time block that I put in there. Now, let's talk about non-work time. I have some non-work time outside of my free days. Won't get into specifics on what I'm about to talk about because what I'm about to talk about is not Sovereign CEO. It's about my Alpha Male 2.0 stuff. If you have more interest, you should go to that channel and that podcast. I have a non-monogamous marriage. I see women on the side in addition to my wife. My wife knows what I'm doing. It's been like that for 8 years. And so X amount of time per week, not a lot, but some, I spend time with who I call my FBs. These are my other women. So I put that in there. I actually pre-schedule that in my calendar so I know it's going to happen. I don't do that stuff on a whim. I'm too busy. I have to be structured about this. If I do anything else that is personal time or free time, and this is very rare. So these are rare scenarios, I guess. So maybe it's not even worth bringing up. But if I go see a movie by myself, which is rare, if I'm seeing like a bloody guy action movie that Pink Firefly doesn't want to see, or if I'm going to just go spend time by myself, I will put that in my schedule as well. I'll pre-plan that. I want that integrated into my weekly schedule. I don't just do this stuff on a whim. Now, if you're the kind of guy who says, well, I like doing stuff on a whim, then guess what? You block off time for that. You say maybe Thursday night, I'm going to just do stuff on a whim. I'm going to block off some time and I'll do whatever I want. Just screw around and just watch YouTube videos and jerk off to porn or whatever the hell you want to do, or go out to go drink with the buddies. And if I end up not wanting to do that and wanting to work, then you can work too. You can have like free, play time. That's fine too. You integrate that all into your weekly plan. But that gives you an idea of how I block off certain chunks of time in my week. And some of those may apply to you. Some of those may not apply to you. There may be other blocks of time that apply to you that don't apply to me. So maybe, for example, in your case, maybe you have small kids. And maybe you got to block off kid time. I had to do this when my kids were small. I blocked off dad time. You may have to do that. Block that stuff off. Whatever works for you. So I hope this has helped. If you want me to get into more specifics on how I plan my week, plan my month, plan my quarter, I can certainly do that. I will see you in the next podcast or video. Have fun. Bye.